Hello Factorio engineers, welcome to the first part of my Pyanodon's adventure. Before we start, I would like to give you some brief info about Pyanodons and the mods I used. Pyanodons is one of the most complex overall mod pack for Factorio. It adds thousands of new recipes, contains long production chains with lots of byproducts to deal with. We will unlock much better recipes for many items as we progress through Tech Tree. Pyanodons lets us grow different plants and breed many creatures to use their parts and fluids to improve our production. There is an endless tech tree we need to complete to reach the final one, and this will take some time thanks to the latest updates. There are different versions of this mod and you can disable some of them or add even more challenging ones if you like. In this run, I played the full mod pack with default settings, which means we don't have to deal with biters, spoilage and quality. Also we can void fluids. I wanted to make this run as simple as possible, that's why I only used a few additional mods. The most important ones for me are Jetpack, because of the size of my base, Rate Calculator for obvious reasons, and Change Inserter Drop Lane for better belt control. There are tons of useful mods that I could use, but these were enough for me. Feel free to share in the comments the ones you use and find helpful. Most of my base is built around my train network and heavily depends on it, with the help of many bots. I didn't use any other creatures for transportation. Caravans are very useful in this mod and I highly suggest them, but I wanted to stick to the base game. Also, even though they are very helpful, I didn't use any kind of combinators to maintain simplicity. As you may have noticed, unfortunately I have to start from post-logistic science. I had no intention to make a video like this while I was playing, that's why I didn't record anything earlier. I only had some backup saves every 100 hours and the earliest one starts from 300. This adventure will show my base development all the way until the Pyrrhic Victory, and you will see how it became a 1.2 terawatt power consuming beast. Let's start flying around and check if everything is running as intended. I will use the jetpack equipment for the rest of our tour. It is very helpful, especially if you want to avoid getting hit by trains. As long as you have space in your equipment inventory, you can add more of these to increase your flying speed. You only need rocket fuel to use it. Let's visit my initial starting zone first. I moved all the base and there is nothing left, but I wanted to start from here. My spaceship crashed around this zone and I built my first base around it until all the iron and copper depleted. There are some leftover ash and I stockpiled them for later use. Stone bricks are still here and I was using them for walking speed bonus when I have no access to jetpack. I built my first Vrauks paddock here after I realized I need them for formic acid, and I created my first simple circuit board around this zone. I thought it was too much effort for just one item. Few hours later I understood that it was just a warm-up. By the way, I have to mention that this is my first Pyanodons run and I did a lot of mistakes and overbuilt along the way. When there is no iron and copper left in this zone, I moved my base all the way up here for new iron and copper mines. After I expanded, I decided to build my hub here because this was the middle part of my entire base and it will remain same until the end. It looks messy at the moment, but I will update it time to time and it will become a mall for almost every building. But I will have to wait until this lead to deplete and it will take some time. Let's head to the iron plate production zone. This metal has a basic setup. The rates are not exact, but it satisfies the demand at the moment. I have room to increase the output if needed. Using raw fiber as fuel in basing oxygen furnaces. It burns without producing ash. I store molten iron in tailings pond for later use and using casting units for iron plates. There are 8 trains at the moment which demand iron plates and currently it's working good. Normally, I use raw fiber here as fuel, but some of the furnaces keep inserting coke and their output is full of ash. This is something I need to fix. I will use this flue gas in the future, but I don't need it at the moment, so I release them. Besides steel, aluminum plate is also produced here. I used a lot of multi-item trains at that stage. Some of them work well, some doesn't. For example, copper plate station is not working as I want and making trains to stuck. If you are planning to do something like this, make sure all the stations are available and working as intended. Geothermal plants are incredibly good when you first unlock them. Each can provide more than 85 megawatt of power. I have 4 of them right now, and this number will increase when I expand more. Here is one of my most farm setups. I'm using the rank 2 recipe and the third replacement that removes the muddy sludge. I prefer the ash recipe for logs since I have tons of ash in storage. I don't know why I put these two like this. This was a bad decision. One storage would be much better here. I'm using another third replacement which is for wood. I picked this one to double the output. Loading the trains like this to increase the speed. 80 wood per second is pretty fast at this stage. I have 6 trains here and this station is working well at the moment. I'm using these raw fibers to fill the basic oxygen furnaces. Moving to the edge. And here is the sea sponges. This one has a poor design, but I don't need it much, so I will update here if I need more. Ammonia is produced here. This one will cause some problems in the future, but I had no idea at this stage. Niobium stuff is waiting to be used. Formamide is normally not needed much, and I have a lot at the moment, but this will deceive me, and I will use it for formic acid, which is a bad idea. Vrauks are better choice for it. Filtration media was one of the most important items for me. Lack of it almost stopped my entire factory once. Many production chains will need it. It's a crucial item and I wired an alarm when I realized it. Another log production site and a massive sap farm. Excess logs goes to tree seeds, biomass and carbon dioxide. Another train with multiple items. This one is working well at the moment. Even one machine is enough for simple circuit boards for a long time. Some of my molten glass is produced here and trains transport it to the glassworks. All of my fuel stations are the same and look like this. Trains with 2 fluid wagons take the fuel from an available station and deliver it to its destination. Let's move to the glassworks. This is one of my favorite places. Fuel and hot air trains are waiting to unload as always. Incubated petri storage is full. That's a good thing, but unfortunately this will not last long. Even 40 machines are producing only 2 per second. I use stack inserters here because the belt capacity is not enough and I will increase the production over time. Also, every other item that needs molten glass is produced in this zone, and here is the loading stations for these items. A small base for chromium. Obviously I overbuilt these casting units. And I don't know what I was thinking when I put this train in use. It's not even operating at the moment. It looks like I have tons of stuff to fix. You will see a lot of tailing stations in the future, and this is the first of many. I will collect all the tailings and gather them in one place and process it for something useful. These are unnecessary, few of them will be more than enough entire game. And here is the notorious bottleneck for most of us. Rubber was a big problem for me for a long time, until this recipe. A short production chain for antimony oxide. More ash is waiting to be used. Some lubricant which I don't need at the moment. Nickel and zinc plates are here. I still use gas furnaces for them because the demand is very low right now. Aluminium and tin are the same. I'm using the simple recipes. More leftover ash is around and I will use all of them soon. Sand casting is a crucial item for production of the metals. Another multi-item train for batteries which is working as I want right now. And the research centers for the logistic science packs. Some of my steam and ash is produced here, using this excess ash for silver plates, which will help me a lot in the future. Raw Nexelits are collected by these tiny little cute dinosaurs. You need to build a dig site for them. They consume food, and the amount of ore they bring depends on the type of the food. We will use bigger creatures here later. Now I'm only using the 2-step chain for Nexelit plates. Here is another sample for unnecessary amount of buildings. I prefer this third replacement for fish. This multi-fluid train was good for a long time. Here is the sulfuric acid production zone. I stored this for later. It seems a lot, but I will use them all. I picked this third replacement for Vrauks, which removes the water. This was not the best thing to do with these body parts, but it seemed decent since I didn't need them much. And more unnecessary buildings. Moving to the Cotton God Center. These little creatures are needed a lot, and of course I'm missing a few items here as well. Another zone for ash and steam production. Stone brick and hot air buildings are also here. Hot air is very important. Make sure you produce it enough all the time. I'm turning shale oil into useful fluids. I will gather all the tailings here and process it into benzene and aromatics. I have 15 fuel loading stations, few of them are here, and there are 13 trains that need fuel in total. I enable the station when it has enough amount of fuel. These stations are scattered all around the base. I currently have only one tailings train, but this station will get very busy in the future. Here is the heart of my base. I'm using 22 oil power plants, plus a few biomass and gas power plants. Oil is my favorite, and I will remove the others later. This is crucial. I set an alarm for pressurized steam. If something goes wrong, I need to fix it as soon as possible. You know what happens if I don't. Consumption and production amounts are sufficient right now. I also have backup fuel ready. This is the fuel station for trains. I'm using raw fiber as fuel. I set a very simple interrupt like this. When their fuel is lower than 50 raw fiber, they stop by here until 300. This place looks very miserable right now. I will go for this copper soon and then this one. We will deplete all of them in the future. Nothing is working properly here obviously. I stopped the production for Pi 1, I have enough for now. A small titanium setup which is enough at the moment. This is not a good choice for carbon dioxide production. Biomass recipe is much better for that. A simple setup for small parts is here. Another moss farm and moss gene samples. I hand feed this at the moment since I rarely need it. Processing tar for creosote and organic solvents. This is my main ash depot. I stockpiled a lot, but don't worry, I will use them all. Actually, I will need so much ash, even these won't be enough. These suits will be my only gold plate source. Another molten glass production is here. Simple setup for automation science packs, which is more than enough. Nothing looks good here and more things that I need to fix. At least we have some naphtha and heavy oil. This minor syngas production site will change a lot and become something massive. Labs are not working at the moment and waiting for the Pi Science Pack 2, which will be ready in the next part. I deliver science packs by trains, but bots will take over this duty in the future. This one looks a little more than what I need. I picked copper third replacement for Moondrops. Another third which is for Seaweeds. I have some backup power here. One building for this item will be enough for the entire game. No need to build more of these. And we are back to the hub. Finally, let's look at the power and the production amounts of some items and fluids. that's all for now. Thank you for watching so far. If you enjoyed, please like the video and subscribe for more. See you in the next part.